So I'm at Bawtry today, which is near Doncaster. I'm outside a Methodist church. I'm told that John Wesley came here when he was about 6 years old. I think he moved in from, I think it was Alton in Lincolnshire, or somewhere like that. It was definitely Lincolnshire anyway. So he moved here when he was 6 years old. And I know that there's somewhere called Paradise Corner at Southampton. He used to be out preaching. I'm told that I used to go to places like the Victoria Hall in Sheffield. But I didn't realise John Wesley was a local person, or localish. So I'm going to actually go down the high street and give you an idea of what it's like at Bawtry. It's extremely busy with traffic, so I'm going to struggle at times to cross the road, but I will do if I can. It was an absolute ideal place to come for the Yellow Ball protests. I ended up doing that on my own. I did get 9 people out at Tickhill with me on the Buttercross. But I just decided to do a Bawtry one on my own, just to carry the message out. So that's the better do at the Methodist Church. One bit, it was full of what I call real shops. Now it's a bit of a footballer's wife type place, Paradise. We looked at boutiques. And some of the prices on one of the shops yesterday, I thought I won't pay that price for those. It's not that I won't pay money for stuff, but prices are absolutely astronomical for some stuff, and I'm going to say it, it's in as good quality as it's made out to be. So Bawtry's full of eating places now. Noticed a couple of coupons as well, one on this side of the road and one on the other. But what I'll do is I'll walk down one side and give you a view of it, and then I'll walk down the other side. So that's on Wall Street. Just here you can see where the old marketplace was. It's been turned into a car park. Real shame. The Crown Hotel up here, which has got some history to it. See, it's just all eating places along here. No real shops left anymore. No, there used to be an herbalist here. Market Hill. Get you better angles on things, but I'm a bit close. There's just cars everywhere around here. So it ruins the place. One of the problems we've got is now we've got Doncaster, Sheffield, Robin Hood Airport, and all they've done is done the countryside up, stuck roads everywhere, put warehouses in and built more houses across beautiful countryside that we need for farming. This is a sort of result of it. So you've got the Crown Hotel there. It's quite a beautiful day now, it's about 20 degrees, mark perfect weather. I did see a video by somebody who I've done protests with in the past, Donkey Dave, who's a bit too left-winging for me now, a bit too in with all the unions, so we've sort of walked away from each other, don't have anything to do with each other anymore. Or I don't anyway, put it like that. This was the market area. I can't believe a market town with no market anymore. Just can't believe Bawtry just completely is a market on a Friday and Saturday, but they're milking the money we can get on the car parking. So we've got some old building. One thing I've noticed is there's no mud flooding around here. There's no mud flood type buildings like there is in Sheffield with lower levels, nothing like that at all that I can see. Another pub there, I think, Turnpike, but I'm sure like a lot of areas now they've renamed the pubs and they're not the original names. It's definitely full of what I consider to be townies. I've lived out at Anston since '66 and seen the countryside built all over. Those people, all they do is come and sleep in the house in the country and then go to the work in the towns. They don't know why they bother. Might as well live in a town. That building over there, 1890. And to me, that reminds me of being in a port for some reason. And I started to ask myself questions. Why do I feel like that? Find out Bawtry was an inland port, quite a wealthy place. It was connected to the River Idle. And the goods used to come in. And when you see Bawtry, I'm assuming the river came to the bottom there that washed it. But what's happened is there's a railway coming through the back of Bawtry now. And I think they diverted the actual River Idle. So I don't get the idea, it's just eating houses everywhere, people sat out having. Certainly not a working class area. Working class haven't got time to sit around eating all afternoon. Now there's a courtyard with shops and that, and one of the things I noticed yesterday looked quite empty, to tell you the truth. This is going to be the normal sort of thing now with all the online shopping and after the COVID thing. Just here we've got the cross. I understand that the top part of it is the new bit because it does look new. And then you've got the original cross at the bottom. Another one. And there's just restaurants everywhere. I've just never seen so many, but there's no shops. So other than like boutiques selling stuff at above what they really were. Got another one, Dower House Restaurant, classic Indian cuisine. Make your own mind up. I'm sure I came in for a few drinks tonight when I was about 18-20, but it still had shops and now it's restaurants, cafes. Go across this road down Swan Street if I can. Give you an idea of Bawtry. It's just full of cars. There's not even that many houses around Bawtry. See the White Hart there. At the moment I'm going to head down to the River Idle. It's quaint, but it's too clinical for me. I like my town's full of shops, the odd pub and that, but restaurants, there's about 95% pubs, cafes. Where does all the custom come from? I think that is Wharf Street down there. What I'll do is I'll walk back down there if I want to get down to the River Idle. It gives you an idea around here. A guy mentioned to me yesterday that it had something to do with the Mayflower with John Wesley. Various other things. So I'm sure I saw one of the houses saying something around here like Mayflower Cottage, and I think it's just here. That says Mayflower Cottage. I don't know if somebody just put that on or whether there was some significance. It does say 66 on it. That's a good old number, 66, isn't it? 1066, 1666. The elite like that, number 6. Outside the shipping at the moment, so I'm going to turn the video off, walk down this road as to bring me to the River Idle, and I'll bring the video back up at the River Idle. I'm now approaching the bridge, crosses the River Idle, and I'm told at one bit there was a Roman road through the middle of Bawtry. I'm also told Vikings probably came down the River Idle in the boats. Now when you look at the River Idle, it doesn't look that deep, it doesn't look that wide, so I'm not really sure how the boats got down here. As far as I know, the River Idle and the use for Bawtry as an inland port would have sort of disappeared when they actually brought the railways in, and also the canals in. South Yorkshire Navigational Canal and then the Chesterfield Canal. This bridge looks quite recent. The reason I say that is I'm sure I saw a date on it somewhere. And it's not a date. From that long ago, yeah, so I can't read that fully, but it says 1940. I don't know what that's signifying. Like I said, I don't think the bridge is that old. I think it's been made to look old. So that's the River Idle. I think it is considered to be quite fast moving, but to me it don't look that deep and it don't look that wide. So like I say, I don't know how they got the boats up and down there, unless it was more like a small canal. I don't know whether it's an original bottom on it, because it looks newer at the, looks older at the bottom. I don't think modern day craftsmen could do this sort of thing like they did then, but I don't know, it could surprise me that looks old at the bottom and new at the top. It's a beautiful spot for fishing if you like fishing. And that fire you see, I think it's in the cornfields. I saw that coming from Dinnington, which I come 10 miles on my cycle, and I think it's a crop fire. Could be wrong, so let's just go to the other side and show it, yeah. think I'm going to have to cross the road again. I'm going to have to cross the road and show you the other side of the River Idle. Can you imagine Vikings coming up and down here?
Hey.
So I was just having a chat to a lady fishing. They can see the River Idle. We'll just go over here. Loads of cows in the field. What I'm going to show you is the River Idle's coming down here at the moment. See, and then if I zoom right in up there, you can see a railway line. Should be able to see the bridges on it. Yeah, see, that's the railway line, and what I think the river was on the other side of the railway line in the past, and I think it's been moved. Keep it away from the town to stop the flooding, but that's why I think when it said Wharf Street, I reckon you just came down Wharf Street and the River Idle was there and the boats could actually offload into the warehouses. So that's just a quick view of the River Idle, and I'll pop back up to Bawtry and get a bit more of Bawtry. So I'm walking back up into Bawtry. You should be able to see that railway line there. Like I said, I think the river was at the other side of that. I need to walk down Wharf Street and then the river have been there. I think it's been diverted a long way away from the town for the flooding, stop the flooding and that, once it stopped becoming an inland port. And just here you can see a plane going up. So I'm not far from Doncaster, Sheffield, Robin Hood. And Peel was saying that the airport's not a going concern and it might have to shut down. Well, I remember the same happening with Sheffield City Airport. Could have been made into a fantastic airport with a little bit of a change to it. They shut that down and built all over it with industrial units. I think Doncaster, Sheffield, Robin Hood Airport, I think it's a Trojan horse. What they do is the original Finningley where the Vulcan bombers used to fly out of, and then it was changed into an airport. And what I think they've done is they've used it to get roads around it, new infrastructure in, then there's warehouses being built everywhere and houses, and then I think we'll find an excuse to shut it down. Well, I know my MP Alexander Stafford isn't happy about it, and various other people, various other politicians, but my feeling is that if they get shut down then they'll just be building all over that airport. So I'm just going to turn the video off again, walk back into Bawtry and pick back up with it. So I'm now coming back into Bawtry. You can see the Ship Hotel there. Seems quite busy, but I'm really puzzled how so many businesses can survive when like about 95% of the retail in Bawtry is a pub, cafe or a restaurant. White Hart, I think it was, when I walked down the other road. Must have two sides to it. Oh, that's the back entrance to it. We've got China Rose Cantonese restaurant on the left hand side. Just there. And where that wall is, I have 8 or 10 yellow boards trying to wake people up to the COVID. Lies, but I don't think they achieve much. It's never been more than a winter flow, and what they're doing is they found the most common winter flu, call that COVID on the test. It's not. Anyway, we've got Bawtry Hall up here, should be another like hotel and restaurant.
You're not lost, are you?
Just been having an interesting chat with a gentleman, and he says that he can't ever remember the actual marketplace where the car park is ever been a market in his lifetime. He said his dad would, but he said that there was a market in Bawtry, and that was down like an arcade. They created that into new shops, and down there is, he said there's not many shops open in it, which is what I noticed. They boarded up. So this is Bawtry Hall. It's absolutely packed here. And what I'd say is there might be some improvement if they diverted the road around Bawtry, but the problem is what tends to happen is when you divert something, it completely kills everything else off. So probably it wouldn't be a good idea to put a ring road around Bawtry. But it's absolutely horrendous with traffic. I think what I'll try and do is, I'll stay on this side. The problem is I'm too close up to a lot of it. You can't see the shops and that for the actual cars. Get a better angle on it now. Well, that gentleman told me that there was 4 butchers in Bawtry at one bit, and they used to kill their own animals as well, so you were getting fresh meat. And that was, I think it was a Buttercross where they sold goods from it. If I was Bawtry Town Council, I'd get the actual market area open back up to the market. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go and show you the board across the road. This is I know that I've just jumped across the road, but it's horrendous. So you can see Zena's restaurant there, you can see the townhouse, that'll be another restaurant. What I want to show you is the Heritage Trail. See if I can. Not sure how clear you see it at home. I can't see it very clear here. All the various buildings here. It's not really a big place at all, Bawtry, but it must have been an area where everybody came in to the market in the past. So you can stop your screen and have a look at that now. I can see it much clearer on my screen. There's another Indian diner. It's a bit of a market area here. I'm actually going to head towards Wharf Street. Just down here I can see it now, there's a courtyard, and that's like an amble down with shops, like boutiques, and that's where I was told, if I got it right, that's where the actual market was. I'm heading down to Wharf Street, and down there's a church as well. Got empty space there. And so that 1890 building, that looks like it's empty, and if I can remember rightly, that was an art place. So I tried bringing some of the pictures there, see if they'd sold them, but on me prototype pictures that I've done specially. That's what I like to see. There's another empty shop there, so I'll get a feeling that at some stage, if we get a recession, we're going to see loads of these places going by the wayside, and it'll end up being turned into housing. So I'm now on Wharf Street. We just had a really heavy shower. I'd already done this part of the video and then found out that I plugged the actual microphone into the wrong socket on my camera, so it's a good job I checked that. So I'm just going to take you down Wharf Street, and what I understand is that the river actually used to run where the railway is now, so they moved it further away from Bawtry to stop the flooding. It's quite nice when you can get away from the main road. But even down here we've got a few cars. Like I said, I've not seen any evidence of like the mud flood type stuff in Bawtry at all. There's no hidden levels, no drop down levels or anything. Coming up to St Nicholas's Church just round the corner, and then I'll sort of end my video there, and what I'll do is I'll do a video specifically of the church. See Wharf Street there, School Walk, and then on to Church Street. And here is St Nicholas Church. It's got scaffolding on it at the moment, but you can still get in the church. But when I look at the prosperity in Bawtry and then I look at this church, it's not that grand. But there are some Methodist churches here, so I think that's probably why this church isn't so grand, because they probably went more full Monty on John Wellesley and his Methodism. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that.